And welcome to the educational rounds at SACLAIR. I'm Jim Ellermeyer. I'm a behavioral health therapist here at SACLAIR, and today I'm joined by
Jocelyn Eaglehouse, PA student from Seton Hill.
And
my name is Sarah. I'm also a PA student from St. Francis University.
And we're glad everyone joined us today. And today we're going to be talking about food and mind. And we're going to be joined today by Melissa Vertosik, who is a nutritional therapist and a health coach, also associated with SACLAIR. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself, Melissa?
Sure. Thanks, Jim. I'm glad to be here today. I am a health coach, and my focus is on helping people prevent disease through balancing their blood sugar and boosting their energy levels. And I do that mainly through helping people get back into the kitchen to cook with confidence and to know what foods work best for themselves.
Melissa, I don't believe that most people are acquainted with the notion that your intestinal tract, we can call it your gut, is your second brain. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. Well, our gut is considered our second brain because mainly it's where all of our food starts and before it gets distributed to our body. It's also a place that makes serotonin, which is one of our neurotransmitters that we think about coming from the brain, but the stomach also makes that. And some of our food choices can give us what we could call brain fog, where we have trouble concentrating, and other things, but our brains take up most of the energy that we take in. So our stomach is a really important part of digesting and absorbing that into our bodies so our brain can function properly.
And here at SACLAIR, we like to take an eclectic view of an individual, a holistic view of an individual, and take into account their nutritional habits, their sleep habits, their exercise habits, their relationship habits in dealing with whatever presented them here. And I was thinking this morning, Melissa, about what's called the Standard American Diet, which this acronym is S.A.D. Could
Yes.
you tell us? Could you talk about that?
Sure. Many researchers believe that the standard American diet is contributing to a lot of the chronic conditions that we are seeing, such as diabetes, obesity, heart disease, things like that. Part of what they are using as showing that standard American diet is, highly processed foods, high-fat, fried foods, things like that, that don't really provide us with the nutritional components that we need to function properly. So the trend is to move away from those foods and back to probably what our grandmothers, great-grandparents used to know as real food. Fruits, vegetables, whole grains, beans, sources of proteins.
So in the world of computer programming, they call it garbage in, garbage out. And what I'm going to ask Ms. Jocelyn to do is give us some quick facts about food and life.
Okay, so it was found that what you choose to eat determines the quality of the nutrients and energy that you bring into your body. The World Health Organization found that our standard American diet results in dramatic increases of chronic and degenerative disease when it's introduced into other countries. Foods such as whole grains, legumes, vegetables, nuts, and seeds bring you natural energy and a more complete and balanced set of nutrients. Fresh food loses a vital life force the longer the time between harvest and eating. So it's better if you eat the more fresher foods. Who provides and prepares your food, and how your food is stored, processed, and prepared can be just as important to your health as what you eat. Being unable to control your food cravings can increase your feeling of helplessness, increase your stress, and lower your self-image and self-esteem. And as you evolve in your body, mind, and spirit, your dietary needs change.
And as we learn here at SACLAIR, if things aren't right between your ears, things aren't right below. And if things aren't right below, things aren't right between your ears. So I'm going to ask my colleague, Miss Sarah, to talk to us about some foods that can enhance our mood and foods to avoid.
Yeah, so foods to avoid are things like sugar that can lead to fluctuations in blood sugar, which can bring on mood swings. Sugar also can trigger inflammation in the body, and chronic inflammation can lead to a poor functioning of the immune system, which is can be linked to depression, or have a greater risk of depression. Also, processed foods, things like MSG, artificial sweeteners like aspartame, those have also been found to be linked to poor mood and irritability. So you want to try to go for the more clean foods, fresh vegetables, fresh fruits, good sources of protein. Protein, a high quality protein like eggs or a handful of nuts can help regulate blood sugar and can help you have a more steady mood and enhance energy. And things like bananas. Bananas contain dopamine, and this can also help boost your mood. Omega-3 fatty acids, which are found in fish, can also help with the mood. There have been studies that show that it can decrease anxiety and depression. So overall, it's better to eat fresh fruits and vegetables, whole grains, things like that, instead of putting the processed foods in your body, because most of the time you don't even know what's in them, and they can poorly affect your body physiologically and also your mood.
Well, great. Thank you, Sarah. And when I think of America, I think of people who like to snack, Melissa. And two of those things are salt and sugar. Could you talk to us a little bit what you have prepared for today?
Sure. Yeah. So you talked about doing healthy snacks, because that's really when a lot of people begin to kind of fall off their healthier diets, is like in the middle of the day when suddenly their energy levels drop and they start reaching for whatever's in the vending machine, whether it's salt by the pretzels or something sweet like a candy bar, which, as you know, we've been talking about, are really not providing your body with what it needs to actually keep your blood sugar stable and provide nutrients to create the serotonin, the dopamine, other neurotransmitters to keep your mood elevated. So I'm going to try to lift this up and show a couple really quick, easy snack ideas that you can prepare. And the main key is to actually make sure that you prepare in advance. I mean, if you know you're prone to having that mid-afternoon slump, actually take something to work with you so you're not tempted by the vending machine. So hopefully you can all see this. A couple real easy things. You were talking about proteins, fibers, healthy fats. That's my combination to keeping your blood sugar stable. So we have very quick ideas: almond butter or other nut butter, depending on what your preferences are and any food sensitivities. And then pairing it with celery sticks or carrots. I like to encourage people to cook the rainbow and provide a variety. So carrots are not always orange. So these ones are purple carrots. So you can be adding some color into your day. Or if you're more tend to the sweet side, you can include an apple with the almond butter instead. Today on my blog, I put this recipe up, and what they are they're sprouted grain snack bites. So a little goes a long way, but they're sprouting your grains to make them easier to digest, but providing you with a complex carbohydrate, as well as it's combined with nuts and seeds to provide some protein sources, as well as your nuts and seeds are good sources of the tryptophan, which will help you with your serotonin, some fresh fruit, almond butter, and there's a little bit of maple syrup to add a little bit of sweetness, because we all like the sweet. So it's kind of combining the sweet and the salty. So basically, with the snack ideas is to make sure that you plan in advance, so that way you're not tempted by the vending machine.
Recently, Melissa, in the last couple of years, whenever I go to the grocery store, I've taken to trying to read the labels on packaged foods, and I don't have a degree in chemistry, and I'm half of these words I cannot pronounce, and most of them I have no idea what they are.
Yes. Yeah, and if you don't know what they are, then I would recommend not purchasing that food, because it's telling you it's highly processed. And especially if you look at some of the packaged foods that say they're like blueberry flavored or whatever, and you look on the back, there might not be blueberries even in the package. So it's telling you that it's chemically based, very processed, and things that probably to avoid.
We have a question here from the audience, Melissa, and it says, "Is sugar really more addictive than heroin? Doesn't that make it very difficult to go cold turkey? And what are some strategies to avoid sugar?"
Okay, yeah, some people do have a propensity to be quote-unquote addicted to sugar, and a lot of it is mainly because it's in many of our packaged and processed foods, so it's very hard to get away from. So Jim, like you're talking about reading the food labels, sugar is hidden in many forms, and you definitely have to be prepared to put down something, because even if it says it's low in sugar, there could be sugars still in that. So I recommend, sticking to whole foods. If you want to go with a natural sweetener, sugar as we know it, the white sugar, is very highly refined. So I recommend going for, using like applesauce or sweet vegetables like your yams, carrots, things like your root vegetables tend to be sweeter, tend to tell your body, hey, we're having something sweet, and can also satisfy that. And, going for something like the maple syrup, which is a less refined sugar, like kind of avoiding the white sugar, but going for fruits and the sweet vegetables as a way to satisfy your sweet tooth without having the white sugars. But the main thing is really to look at the labels and avoid things that have a lot of sugar in it. And like I said, some of the no sugar added things and the chemical sweeteners are not a substitute. I avoid, you want to avoid those as well, because they can affect your mood, as we mentioned earlier. They can inhibit your body from making the serotonin. So chemical sweeteners that are the artificial sweeteners are not a good substitute. So I'd say stick with the fruits, the sweet vegetables, and to look at maybe what else is going on, why you're craving the sweet, and addressing that as a emotional level.
Well, one of the comments that Dr. Chaudhry often makes, that if a company has to spend $1 bazillion to convince you to buy their product, it's not worth buying. And I came in from this morning, and Melissa, I didn't see one billboard for broccoli on the way in.
No, you definitely won't see that.
Well, that's great. And how would an individual who would care to invest in their health and their wellness get in touch with you?
Well, I am, at SACLAIR on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and available to seeing patients there. So you can definitely call the front desk, the 724-468-3999 number, and set up an appointment. I am also at my website, thewholelifeapproach.com, where you can get some articles, more information, other recipes. Like I said, the one snack bite recipe that I made for today is on the blog, so you can download that and try it out. Again, a little goes a long way with that one. And yeah, that's basically where you can find me. I'm also on YouTube and Facebook, things like that, so there's multiple ways to get in touch with me.
Well, thank you. Thank you for joining us today, Melissa. That was very informative, and I'm going to ask Miss Sarah to close us out.
To continue the conversation, please like us on Facebook, plus on Google+, and follow us on Twitter under SACLAIR Life, and keep an eye out for these on our next live recording Mondays around noon to ask your own questions. You can find this and other grand rounds on youtube.com/SACLAIR video, and find audio versions on iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, and iHeartRadio. And please visit our website, www.saclair.com, for more about us and other articles on our great blog.
And as always, our prescription fruits, nuts, and vegetables unplug your television, and perhaps take up fishing. And as my good friend Sven often says, for a real meditative time, fish without bait. And as always, be good to yourself.